Ciao everyone, it's Marchettino. Today, thanks to Abarth, I'm going to test drive and review the latest model, the 695 Biposto. I'm quite curious to know how this pocket rocket goes because, as you know guys, I'm an Abarth owner since about 4 years and I want to see how it's like to drive their most extreme Abarth 500. And it's a rather special place to start the video here because I'm on the top of Lingotto. This building is owned by Fiat. Below there are lots of offices, but here on the top, this is actually a racetrack. Well, they don't use it anymore, they use it for commercial photo shoots and stuff like that, but it's fantastic to start here. For the occasion, I'm going to drive the Biposto. Can you see the mountains? Somewhere there is the Pass of Moncenisio, and thank God I have a sat-nav. Okay, so let's go. I'm legally speeding on the top of a building. Just in Italy. Wow, just look at that parabolica corner. I wanted to drive on it so badly. But even getting out of Lingotto is quite fun. This is a playground. I own my Abarth since almost 5 years and I have to admit that it's a quite fun car to drive. And finally, I get to drive the Biposto, which is the most extreme Abarth 500 model ever made. The Biposto is my kind of ideal car because you take a car that is already fun to drive and then you add more power, reduce the weight and make it quicker. The word Biposto means 2 seats. In fact, there are no seats in the back. There is a pretty cool roll cage. I have to say this car is pretty hardcore. You don't have the radio, the air conditioning, and if you opt for the option race like some windows, you don't even have the power windows. All these things mixed together help to keep down the weight. In fact, Abarth claims that the Biposto weighs less than a ton, or precisely 997 kilos, but considering that I'm not going to the gym since weeks, I guess we're above 1 ton. After having driven the Biposto for more than 1,000 kilometers, I can say that, yeah, you can drive it around the city. Sure, it's not as comfortable as the standard Abarth 500 model, but with a car like this, you will spend most of the time around winding roads like this and around racetracks. I've been lucky enough to have a first taste of the Biposto more than 1 year ago during the Gamble 3000. I experienced a passenger ride around Top Gear's test track and it has been a quite exciting moment because I've been one of the very first persons to jump on board the Biposto and I did it for the first time around Top Gear's test track. But now I'm behind the wheel, so let's see how it goes. It's always a pleasure to drive around roads like this with a manual gearbox and a clutch pedal. But it's a pity that the press car that Abarth has provided me is not fitted with the option dog ring gearbox, which is derived from the race car version. I need to use the first gear because below 3000 10,000 RPMs, it suffers a little bit the turbo line. But when the turbo kicks in, it really accelerates, yeah, pretty quickly.
The 1.4-liter four-cylinder engine produces enough power for the weight of the Biposto.
Compared to the standard Abarth 500, it has also bigger tires and wheels, 18-inch by the way. And the Biposto has more traction. Road is a bit slippery, so there is a bit of understeer. Without the seats in the back, there is even less acoustic isolation, and the Akrapovic titanium exhaust bubbles pretty nicely. I really wish the car that I'm driving had the option dog ring gearbox, because to be honest, I don't really like this 5-speed manual. The clutch as well as the gear stick feel way too soft when you use them. I took the car around Monza and it didn't really feel like a proper gearbox for shifting down and doing the hill turn. And another defect that I found by driving it around the track is that you can't really turn the electronics off, you cannot turn the ESP off. For a car made for this purpose, they should have done that. Here it comes a straight. Red line at 6,500 RPMs. It's pretty quick around the corners, more than my Abarth. I cannot really make a comparison with mine because it's not very stock. But I have to admit that this is quicker. The seats are quite rough, but they offer a good lateral support. And if you opt also for the option 3-point seat belts, you are really glued to the seat. Yeah, talking about the seat belts, that this car is not provided with the race seat belts, I think there are way too many things that should be standard instead of option in this car.
To me, it makes sense to buy the Biposto only if you make it full option, and I found that pretty much everything is an option in here. The AIM data logger is an option, and I've been quite surprised to find out that also the mirrors as well as the dashboard are an option. And the most interesting features, which is the dog ring gearbox, which by the way it allows to change gear without using the clutch pedal. That's an option as well, and it costs a staggering 10,000 euros. That's expensive. The Biposto starts at about 40,000 euros, and full option the price raises up to 60,000 euros. 60,000. That's a lot for a 500. I like and hate the Biposto at the same time because it's undoubtedly pretty fast and fun car to drive, but Abarth just completely messed up with the price. I think I'll keep mine. Just look at this view. I really need to come here more often. I've been quite lucky to find such a beautiful day because this is almost snow season. Let me take you for a tour around the Abarth Biposto. Just look at the beautiful carbon fiber diffuser. and the Akrapovic titanium exhaust pipe. Yeah, look at also the 18-inch wheels and the bigger Brembo brakes. The Abarth 695 Biposto is available only with this matte grey paint, and I think this really looks aggressive. Let's have a look at the interior. The door panels are made of carbon fiber and they look absolutely amazing. The new generation of the 500 features also a digital display. On the right it shows how much throttle you're using, and on the left the engine revs. Here's the carbon fiber dashboard, the sport button, which makes the throttle more responsive and the steering wheel more stiff. And here's the sub-belt seats of the Biposto. They are standard on this car, but they're an option on the other Abarth 500 models. You can opt also for the back of the seats made entirely of carbon fiber. They're a quite expensive option if you ask me. There are no seats in the back, so let's have a look. Here's the roll cage, and the great thing is that you have a much bigger trunk and you can carry a lot more things with you.
It would have been even better to move around these winding roads with a limited slip differential. Sadly, you can have it only if you opt for the option dark green gearbox. Compared to a standard Abarth, the Biposto feels more stable. At high speed, and especially when you slam the foot on the brakes, the braking power is quite strong, and if you opt for the same braking system on the standard Abarth and brake hard, you can really feel the tail that loses traction.
So just drove back to Turin to Fiat's factory to give back the Biposto. It's been a great weekend with this car, and I really want to say thanks to Abarth for making this possible. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more, and as always, thanks for watching. Ciao!
Sure, it's not a problem to overtake with so much torque. It's quite impressive because the power delivery is literally instantaneous.